Chapter 41. A continuing trend of anti-corruption enforcement. The trend for anti-corruption enforcement will continue in 2019 and beyond. While the sheer volume of anti-corruption enforcement actions involving conduct in Africa in 2018 was not particularly significant, recent developments suggest that companies operating in Africa can expect heightened scrutiny from anti-corruption enforcers in the coming year. France's arrival on the international enforcement scene is likely to be particularly notable in this regard, given the large number of French companies operating in Francophone Africa. On the domestic enforcement front, in South Africa, the sprawling state capture matter is ongoing, focused on allegations of widespread corruption and conflicts of interest in the government of former President Jacob Zuma. We can also expect U.S. enforcers to continue to be active on the continent, as evidenced by the successful prosecution of Chinese national Patrick Ho in a case involving alleged bribes on behalf of a Chinese energy company in Chad and Uganda, and the early 2019 indictment of a number of individuals in connection with Mozambique's tuna bond scandal. Multilateral development banks will continue to play an important enforcement role in Africa. The World Bank initiated 28 investigations in Africa in its 2018 financial year alone, representing 41% of all new investigations. Project finance. The African Development Bank (ADB) estimates that there remains a 68 billion to 108 billion financing gap to meet Africa's infrastructure needs, which is estimated to be in the range of 130 billion to 170 billion annually. So, there should be continued growth in project finance during 2019. Lending from development finance institutions (DFIs) continues to play a crucial role in project finance across sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in the infrastructure sector. Power projects will also be a key driver of project finance work on the continent. Today, an estimated 600 million people in Africa lack access to electricity. This power deficiency on the continent coincides with the increasing interest and investment in renewable energy sources, in particular smaller-scale power projects, due to the demand for less complex projects that can be implemented quickly. Climate change, energy, and business. Climate change will remain a key issue for countries and companies in 2019. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has declared Southern Africa a climate change hotspot. There will be more focus on types of fuel for new projects that are being developed in Africa. The financial impacts and outlook for renewable wind, geothermal, hydro and solar, and thermal, gas, coal, diesel, and heavy fuel oil energy will be impacted by improvements in technology as well as regulatory and economic issues. The handling of these issues as price, intermittency, base load, land rights, and tax incentives will be key to financing these projects. There will be increasing pressure from the development finance institutions to finance more renewable projects, but economic factors will determine most fuel sources such as fuel availability, grid stability and strength, and overall project cost. All of this will add complexity and time for completion of these projects. Notably, there are potential wind and geothermal projects in Kenya and Ethiopia, while South Africa is likely to implement the next round of bids for the Renewable Energy Independent Power Producer Procurement (REIPPP) wind projects. South Africa. With elections expected in May, the Ramaphosa government needs to deliver on economic growth, which the World Bank indicates was 1.3% in 2017, rising only to 1.4% in 2018 due to high levels of unemployment, low business confidence, and policy uncertainty. While the issue of expropriation without compensation looms large, UBS, the world's largest wealth manager, believes that the South African government will manage the land reform issues sufficiently well. Reform of key parastatals including Eskom and South African Airways is a pressing matter. Ramaphosa's campaign to attract $100 billion in new investment in 5 years is starting to show results. The South African government is also hopeful that last year's Job Summit will be a stimulus for the creation of over 10,000 jobs. Ethiopia. Perhaps the most exciting leader on the continent, 42-year-old Abiy Ahmed has raised expectations that Ethiopia will become the next economic powerhouse on the continent. Not only is Ethiopia the second most populous country with 100 million people, but it is the fastest growing economy in Africa with a GDP of 8 to 10%. Abiy's unprecedented reforms include normalized relations with Eritrea after 20 years of hostility, the release of thousands of political prisoners, lifting the state of emergency and cutting the number of ministries from 28 to 20, while ensuring half of all cabinet positions are filled by women. Some of the challenges that Abiy will face in coming months include managing the influx of refugees from Eritrea, decreasing ethnic tensions and competing factions within the ruling Ethiopia People's Revolutionary Democratic Front (EPRDF), and preparing for local elections this year and national elections next year. The World Bank's commitment of $1.2 billion in budget support is an important vote of confidence in Abiy's reform process from the international community. Nigeria. When elected in 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari promised to realize 10 to 12% annual GDP growth, secure the territorial integrity of the nation, and combat corruption. However, for 2019, the World Bank forecast 2.2% growth for Nigeria. The Boko Haram insurgency in the northeastern part of the country persists despite significant progress, and the country continues to score lower than average for sub-Saharan African nations on the Corruption Perception Index. These three fundamental issues will frame the presidential election scheduled for 16 February 2019.